Hi everyone, it's Miss O'Donnell. So today we're going to talk about slope. This is one of the things that you're going to need for your project. We're going to work on the project tomorrow. Today we're just going to learn what slope is. And hopefully this is more of a review of something that you learned in algebra. So first let's talk about the coordinate plane. We talked about it a little bit when we did the equation of a circle, but we got to talk about the different parts of the plane. So the coordinate plane has two axes and we plot points and lines on it. So first the x-axis goes horizontal, so it's going across. The y-axis goes up and down, and then we can plot points on it using the form of x comma y. So first let's look at this point. The x is how far right or left, so we went to the right 2 and then up 3. So we would write this point as +2, +3, because we went right 2, up 3. If we were going to the left, the x's would be negative. If we were going down, the y's would be negative. So what slope is how steep the line is. So it's written as rise over run, where rise is how much up or down it goes, and run is how far right or left it's going. So if we think about rise going up and down, the coordinates that go up and down are our y coordinates, and the coordinates that go right and left are our x coordinates. So it's really the change in y, like how far up or down it's going, divided by how far right or left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 points and I'm going to figure out what the slope is in between them. So here are 2 points at 2, 3, and 6, 5. And I want to know what is the slope of this line in between it. So we have 2 points, 2, 3 in the form of xy and 6, 5 in the form of xy. But we can't call them both xy, so I'm going to differentiate them by calling 2, 3 x1, y1 and 6, 5 x2, y2. So my first point is 2, 3. They have the ones. My second point is 6, 5. It doesn't matter which point you choose as being your ones and which one you choose as your two, as long as you're consistent. So you could switch them. It doesn't matter. So we're going to change our formula a little bit. Instead of saying change in y, what change means is like the difference. So that's going to be subtraction. So instead of change in y, I'm going to subtract my 2 y values. And instead of change in x, I'm going to subtract my 2 x values. So my formula, which you might want to write down somewhere, is m. M represents slope, equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So it's our change in our y coordinates over our change in our x coordinates. And we get the x1, y1, x2, and y2 from our 2 points. So now what we're going to do is we're going to plug in our points into our formula to figure out the slope. The first thing I'm going to do is look at y2. So if I look, y2 is a 5. I'm going to change the y2 to a 5. Then I look for y1. So y1 is 3, x2 is 6, and x1 is 2. So I took my coordinates and I plugged them into my formula. So I'm going to subtract. So 5 minus 3 is 2. 6 minus 4, or 6 minus 2 is 4. So my slope is 2 over 4, which I can reduce to 1/2. So this line has a slope of 1/2, positive 1/2. All right, so we're going to go through a couple examples. So if I ask you to find the slope between these 2 points, 3, -4, and 6, 0. First thing you're going to do is write down your formula, which you should have written down somewhere. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Then I'm going to label my points. So my first coordinate, 3, -4, is going to be x1, y1. And my second point is going to be x2, y2. Now I'm going to plug in my coordinates. So y2 is 0, y1 is -4, x2 is 6, and x1 is 3. So be really careful that you're plugging in the right numbers, and also be careful with your negative. So since my y1 is a -4, I'm going to be having a minus -4. So a minus negative turns into a plus. So my slope is going to be 0 plus 4 over 6 minus 3. So 0 plus 4 is 4, 6 minus 3 is 3. So my slope between 3, -4, and 6, 0 is going to be positive 4 over 3. All right, so here's another example. So pause the video, try to figure it out by yourself first. The first thing we do is write down our formula, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I'm going to label my coordinates. So 8, 3 is going to be x1, y1. 5, 1 is going to be x2, y2. Next, I plug in my coordinates into my formula. So y2 is 1, y1 is 3, x2 is 5, and x1 is 8. 1 minus 3, so if you plug this into your calculator, 1 minus 3 is negative 2. 5 minus 8 is negative 3. So I have negative 2 over negative 3. But this is improper. So if you have a negative over a negative, those cancel out and you get positive 2/3. So in order for your slope to be negative, only one of the numbers would be negative. So if I had negative 2 over positive 3, that would be a slope of negative 2/3. If I have a positive over a positive or a negative over a negative, my slope is positive. All right, so that's how to find slope. I want to now talk about two very specific slopes that can be a little bit confusing. So the first one is the slope of horizontal lines. So here's an example of a horizontal line. It's going straight across. And the thing that makes these points different is that the y coordinates are both 2. So when I go and plug that into my formula, I end up with 0 over 3. And if you plug that into your calculator, 0 divided by 3 is going to be a slope of 0. So anytime you have a horizontal line where you have 2 points with the same y value, your slope is 0. The other special line are vertical lines. So vertical lines go straight up and down, and now our two x coordinates are the same. So I'm going to do the same procedure, write down my formula, plug in my numbers, but now my 0 is on the bottom. So if you were to type into your calculator negative 3 divided by 0, you're going to get something that pops up like error or syntax error or something that says like this cannot happen. So you cannot divide a number by 0. So we call that slope undefined. So it's not a slope of 0. Right? Horizontal lines have a slope of 0. Vertical lines have a slope of undefined. It has an undefined slope. So make sure you write this down somewhere. If you have a 0 divided by a number, you're going to get 0. If you have a number divided by 0, you're going to get undefined. So the best way to do this is just to type it into your calculator. If you get something that says error, it's undefined. So don't confuse those two on your exit ticket. So make sure you wrote down your slope formula somewhere. Make sure you know the difference between a 0 slope and an undefined slope. Tomorrow, you're going to be finding the slopes for all the sides of your shape. So the other day, you created your shape on Desmos. Tomorrow, you're going to be doing it for your actual shape. Today, you're just doing your exit ticket. So just go on to the assignments and do your exit ticket. It's just going to talk about slope in general. So tomorrow, I'll show you exactly how to do it for your project. You can go ahead and try it if you want, but you won't have to do that until tomorrow. So go ahead and start your exit ticket. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or join me for office hours. I hope you guys have a really great day.